Hey, welcome again to the Whitesides Workshop. Today, we're going to be putting some rear end bearings, some rear axle bearings in this 1934 Plymouth two-door sedan. I built this car around 2006, and the owner, there's the owner, Joe. Say hi, Joe.
Hi, guys.
Joe's owned that car ever since, and he drives it every year. So, get under here. Whoops. Gonna be pulling the pumpkin apart, taking the axles out, and putting new axle bearings in it. So let's get started.
At least there's oil in it.
Yes,
That's a good
at least
sign.
there's oil in it. That's true.
It's a good sign, huh?
Not a lot though.
Oh, more than enough, I
Not
think.
supposed to be a lot.
Nice. Otherwise, you pump it out through the...
Now,
Does that go right through into that pin, Don?
it goes through this pin. It's a pin.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's got a long dog point.
Yeah, it goes right through there. Now, we spin this around. One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to pound that pin down in there against the bottom of the housing, because then if it gets stuck in there, you can't turn it and you can't get it out. So I pound it part way out and then pull it the rest of the way out the front. So there. Okay. Now let's get the wheels off. Push in on that axle, Dale.
Oh, the seat clips.
Just push straight in, yeah. There you go.
Oh, they come off easy, huh?
Now that
Are they
axle,
in a recess, Don? So
that axle will slide right out gently.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay, we got the axle out. And if you look in there, I don't know how well it's going to show up, but you can see that those bearings have some pits in them.
we got it just in time so you don't wreck the axle.
Yeah, it did mark the axle up a little bit, but not too bad.
Oh,
All right, Dale, out she comes. I got to. Now, if you're only changing one bearing, I still pull both axles out. Number one, to check, and number two, it's way easier to put a bar all the way through the rear end and tap that bearing out than it is trying to pull it out with a slide hammer. If you don't have a slide hammer, you just get a long bar, piece of pipe, and put it all the way through the axle.
Oh, keep going. It's coming. It's coming.
Hold on, I gotta do the bottom.
In my hand.
okay.
Good?
Yep.
Because that bearing was starting to get kind of crunchy. Oh yeah,
This is where it rides.
definitely got some wear on that axle.
Mm-hmm.
So we're
Wow.
gonna have to do something about that. Let's take a look. We got some problem solver bearings. They got two seals built into them, and it may move the bearing to a different spot in the axle. Let's check.
What's going on here, Don?
Well, this is called a problem solver bearing. It has two seals, both in and out, because these axles get
So this is not a wear spot. This is a wear right here.
well, that's the seal right there.
What's this pitted stuff here?
Well, that's just from being exposed.
Okay,
So that's where the seal rides. This is where the bearing rides.
okay.
But this new bearing, this problem solver bearing, has two seals. It has a seal on the inside and a seal on the outside.
So you think it's worn too much to put back in?
So I got to find out. All right, because this axle's got some wear right here, it's also got some burrs on it, and out here it's got a little wear on it too. And the bearing we bought, we're going to be moving the bearing out farther on the axle with that problem solver bearing, so I want to clean this up. But anytime you're sanding down or cleaning up an axle or anything like this, you don't just want to put a piece of sandpaper on it like this, because the sandpaper follows the highs and the lows and doesn't really make it round or flat again. You always want to take the sandpaper and put it against something hard and flat, so you get a good flat surface, a consistent surface. So let's get this cleaned up.
So tell them what grit sandpaper you're using.
This is 320, I think. Yeah, it's on the other paper, but I think this is 320 grit paper. So don't use too coarse a sandpaper. It just gets all we're trying to do is get the high spots off, not change anything. That's good. Once you get all the high spots off, you give it a little bit of a polish. And that's as good as that axle's going to get.
Yep.
All right, because this bearing was worn and had some pieces off of it, we're going to clean the axle tubes out. The oil wasn't all that great, so we'll clean the axle tubes out with some brake cleaner. We'll clean the center out with a little brake cleaner. We'll put some fresh oil in it and put new bearings in it. Push all that ugly stuff to the inside. Oh yeah. I don't know how well you can see that, but that's the chips that came out of the end of that axle housing from that bearing wearing. That's why when you do a job like this, you got to clean everything. Clean everything up.
Axle boogers. There you go.
Oh, it's counting perfect. All right, we're gonna put this bearing in. See, this bearing is offset to the outside, and it changes where it rides on the axle. So when you have a worn axle, you put these problem solver bearings in, and you get more life out of the axle.
Yeah, problem solved.
Problem solved.
Keeps putting his big head in the way.
When you're pounding the bearing or anything else in, and the tone changes, and the hammer bounces, you know you're bottomed out. When the hammer bounces off whatever you're tapping on, you know you're bottomed out. Slide the axle in. Line it up from the inside. And I know the bearing came out easy, but these new bearings are pretty tight on there. They'll be fine, but they're pretty small. Put the C-clip back in the axle, and you pry the axle back out. Or not.
Dude.
Get a bigger pry bar.
There you go.
And that's it. All right. when you're putting this pin back in, make sure you put it in with a hole on the right end and lined up with a hole for your cross pin. Ask me how I know that.
How do you know that?
I may have done it wrong once or twice or 10 times.
I would think 10 times with you.
So get that pin in there. Oh, there we go. Just for good measure. A little brake cleaner. Pin back in. I'm gonna get that bolt good and snug, but don't break it off. Now I use a 6.5/16 on these. Sometimes they're in there really hard, and you can round the heads off kind of easily. So if you have a 6-point box wrench, that's what I would use. So that's good. Axle bearings are in, center pin's in, the cross pin's tight, the lock pin's tight. Now we just got to clean up the housing, put the cover back on, and we should be good to go. Hang on to this.
It's definitely out of the way because that's made top.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Put a little silicone on there. It looks like a lot, but it's not a lot. Not too much. All right, if you put your arm straight in and just twist your wrist, that's if you're an adult male, I guess. If you're your average strength guy, if you twist your wrist, that's about 20 foot-pounds. That's all you really want on these bolts is about 20 foot-pounds. Any more than that, and you'll distort the cover, and that's what promotes leaks.
That thing.
And there we go. She's back together.
Yeah.
Now we got to put some rear end fluid in it and friction modifier, because this is a positive traction rear end, limited slip rear end. So we got to put some friction modifier and rear end fluid in here.
Where's the